Now we've all been there, listening to Karen drone on about the latest corporate strategy whilst we farm grandmasters on chess.com weekly titled Tuesday, but have you done it on a tablet or a laptop come tablet, what do you call it, a lablet, like Magnus Carlsen did on the latest titled Tuesday this week in October, early edition? Now this comment here says it all. Can he win the entire tournament? We're picking up this game, which is the footage just shown. His opponent is the Spanish Grandmaster Jaime Santos. Someone will tell me I'm saying it wrong because I'm a complete nincompoop, but I'm trying. And we're looking at it from Magnus's perspective, the black perspective. Mind blown, I know. Now we get knight f3 on the board. This is how the game opens up. Online elite chess, let's go. Magnus pushes the c pawn here, and it's a Sicilian invitation. He opens the door, invites Jaime into the madhouse, and Jaime's like, let's play, bro. Pushes e4, we're in a Sicilian, and Magnus goes for his favourite right now, the La France variation. He leans forward, whispers, en garde, because of course he's in a work meeting, can't scream it. You're welcome if I gave you some goose pimples there. Went all tingly, just got a bit weird. And now after d4 for the score, Magnus gobbles it up. He's a very hungry boy. We now see knight recaptures, a6, what a naughty grandmaster, weakening all those dark squares, but he's a man with a plan. Bishop d3 played, knight f6, castles, and the queen now keeps an eye on those dark squares. Plus I love drawing paint on the board, very little better to do in my spare time. We now get queen e2 played, and d6 keeps an eye on that e5 push, but f4 renews it, aggressive. So Magnus develops his second pony, doesn't do any naying, the presentation's still going on, again covers the square once more, and now we get the explosive pawn to c4, setting up the old Maroczy bind, solid in the centre. Magnus fights back with b6, setting up that hedgehog structure. Be careful if you ever face it over the board. The pawns are prickly when this one's set up. Is he going to fianchetto the rook? Well, after knight c3, no. Sanity prevails as he fian cornettos that massive ice cream onto the Milky Way. So king h1 played, stepping off the exposed diagonal. Prophylactic chess, meaning to guard against. This man on screen, an absolute master of it in his day, Anatoly Karpov, and now spends his time guarding against genital frostbite. Very common in his age, in the depth of the Russian winter, but this is one way to stave it off. Regular ice bath, always then get prepared for the worst. We now see g6, bishop e7 more common there. This one a bit risky, more dark squares weakened, and surely you play pawn to f5 here. You can imagine Fischer just flicking that off the wrist in an instant, but no, Jaime, the big wuss, ought to take up tiddlywinks, just develops another piece, connects his rooks, and allows Magnus to do some development. The bishop's crossing swords there, not advised in church. Now we get rook ac1, eyeballing the lady, very uncomfortable. Castle's played, but before Magnus can do anything further, Jaime pushes that juicer. The centre is under siege, so Magnus fights back. He brings his own master blaster onto the half-open file. And now what to do as white? What's the plan here? Well, I do like this approach. You can start pushing p, one of these, yes, but suffocate your opponent. If you own the centre here, make them suffer, burn the clock. He just retreats the knight here, potentially preparing e5, possibly clearing this square for a bishop one day, who knows. Magnus steps back, out of the gaze of the rook, and now what about this for an incredible move? Bishop to g1. Who plays such an overpowered, retreating move? They've seen enough at Kramnik HQ, deep in the depths of the forests of Switzerland, absolute scenes, as Kramnik sees this, does the procedure.
Okay, let's do the procedure. Block. this is first what I do.
Yes, another name added to the Kramnik scrolls. Jaime's on the very naughty list. Now we see knight h5. Magnus breaking the rules there, sticking it on the edge, forgetting the old chess adage that a knight on the rim is an absolute degenerate that ought to be hung, drawn and quartered. Now the pawn is covered, and this one is very provocative, bringing that knight onto another attacking square but blocking the retreat path of this one. G4 not quite working to trap it because this covers, okay, but it is risky. Magnus's pieces on top of each other. Can you not take this pawn? Yes, you can, but then black takes here. Opens the queen attack, different game. Instead, we see this move, given the miss. Now Magnus intensifies the pressure, and G3, the preferred move here of Stockzilla, but not played. Instead, we get knight G5, given the question mark of shame, because now you can push one of those juicers in the center here. But Magnus picks the wrong one. What an absolute patzer. Pushes e5 here, and the game explodes into life. After fe, pawn recaptures, and now bishop takes on b6. What a fight we've got going. Now, did we not say that the response here is bishop takes on e4? Yes, it is. Top move of the engine. It's a different game though. Maybe something about activating the bishop Magnus didn't like. Okay, he doesn't do it. Instead, he hops in with his steed, activates him, prepares to take that knight on g5 because it's no longer defended by the queen, and that's why we now see this pawn plow down the board in the defense, but it does open up the king, right? Weakens this square. Magnus going for the dark squared grip. So knight 6 to h5 played, again given the miss, but it's human chess. Let's crack on with the show. f6 could be a threat. Let's get Hans Feingold purring. But does it come yet? No. After bishop e3, first Magnus reactivates this queen, putting double pressure on the bishop on d3, which is a big ugly pawn. And now he wants this move. You know, takes, bring my other knight in, you give up your dark squared bishop, lovely jubbly, but Jaime's too long in the tooth. He goes knight d5, great attacking move, and Magnus now goes wrong here. His top way to play is with a queen d8 immediately, or takes, pawn recaptures, then queen d8. Idea to munch that pawn, attack the king. But he first takes, understandable given how amazing the knight was, but after this one recaptures, look at that avalanche of pawns coming through the center of the board. Now he takes, pawn recaptures, queen d8, going for the attack here, but c5, already a good move. Not played. First we get takes on f4. The pawn recaptures here, coming onto the dark squares. This still a threat, but it allows rook e5 since Magnus opened up this rank here. And this is about the moment. After pawn f6, keeping Hans Feingold happy, that we pick it up here in the studio with Magnus because he's on his tablet. This is the footage. So rook e6 is played here. Magnus should take. Best move. You can see there's about an equilibrium right now, but instead he glides on past with pawn to f5, wants to take with the queen. Very understandable, but this is what he's missed. This is why white is completely winning. You can simply start pushing these pawns. d6 good, king g1, but let's say you push the pawns, allow this one to drop. Here's a sample line, and actually it's white that's in the driving seat here. Because even if you start pushing to rip open the king, the white attack comes faster, all of this stuff, the queen can join the diagonal, the rook can hit e7, it's really, really good for white. These ones come very fast. But this wasn't played. Instead, we get queen f2 here, scared of Magnus's attack, but it's a really bad move as you can see. Stockfish poops its pants because Magnus now takes, and this is the really key point. Without the queen on d2, the rook's undefended, so now after king g1, still not the best move. Pushing p there was better. There's this amazing move. Magnus finds it. It's pawn f3, attacking greatness, because the rook is hanging over there on c1. pawn has to be saved. Obviously this one can't take anyway, pinned. Queen can't take or rook drops. So after this one comes here, double in, stacking the 2 towers, Tolkien proud. Now Magnus crashes through. Knight f4 on the way. This pawn could be pushing, and that's why this one here is a really important defense. Now upon knight f4, there's queen g3 supported by the rook, and if this to do this, then you're just in time to challenge the lady, and this is the position that could be reached with best play, black still a bit better. But okay, not played. This one was very understandable in blitz chess, but look at Magnus now dominating. That is an octopus that Stocktopus can be proud of. Multiple threats on the board here, and after the rook saves itself and defends the bishop and covers here, what could be more natural? Well, now Magnus slides back. 1 step backwards to go about 5 forwards, whoosh down and checkmate. So that's why queen g3 gives the king a square. Of course you'd love to take the pawn, but the knight covers. Absolute monster. And now Magnus has many attacking moves here that seal the deal. He could check already, but he does this. Rook recaptures. Now he takes on c4 here, and his point being, if the queen or king capture, then you go to some absolute kebab action and kill them there. So instead, the deuce has pushed. But now we get check. King f2 here, and this is the icing on the cake. The king getting flushed out like poop from the Seine in readiness for the Olympics. And if you block here, well then this is the point. Many ways to win really, but this just drives out that king. Very, very nasty. All of Magnus's feces just plowing into the attack here. So king e3 was played. King f3 made no difference, by the way. You can make a queen or not check. There's a pawn covering, but it was all dead. So this one was played. f4 check from Magnus, and we saw resignation. He's gone to Forktown here. You're losing the queen, right? What to do? You know, I don't know, move the king, something, takes, blah, blah, blah. And even if you make a queen here, is there a checkmate? Yes, there is. You open up the attack here, and there's very few moves that white can actually do to not get killed. Let's run the line through. King d4, and there's a nice checkmate. What an absolute demolition. Okay, this is the final position. Did Magnus win the entire tournament? Not quite, just second. What an epic performance though. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash unsubscribe, never share with your friends, and do hit that dislike button. Thanks very much for watching. Check out the video on screen for another incredible game from Magnus Carlsen, and I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.